Awesome. There we go. Thank you. Well, we are official. We are live here at the Kingdom Financial Group Studios at 5th and State on Talk Erie, the Joel Natale Show. Joel is enjoying a summer break. Had a great family event over the weekend, and hoping he's enjoying himself. We officially, now I am Dean Pepicello, filling in over the next 3 hours in part. It's official now. It does take 5 human souls to replace Joel Natale. Aaron is here producing, Shaney is around, and our friends, the Judge Dave Schroeder from over in Ohio, and one of my favorite human beings in the whole world, Paul Bills, have joined us. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. You say that now.
Well, I'll say it at 6 o'clock as well. Ask me again if I think you're still a gentleman. But it officially takes 5 people to replace Joel Natale. That's how good this guy is. So this is the one live show that we're going to do. Again, Dean Pepicello standing in less than admirably probably over the next 3 hours for Joel, but we'll give it a shot, and we appreciate him giving us this opportunity. So we are here live until 6 o'clock. You can join the conversation, 814-679-1080. Certainly, if you're listening over the air, we welcome that. Anybody at talkerie.com, and I believe we are live on Facebook. Is that correct?
I hope so.
We believe so. I hope so is the answer from Shaney. So we believe we're on Facebook as well. But we're gonna do 3 hours of political talk, political roundtable today, and welcome you in. Having said that, Judge Schroeder has made his way over from Ashtabula County. We appreciate you making the trip into your hometown.
Thanks for having me. Always enjoy doing this.
Absolutely. We go way back doing this, you and I, so I know a lot of longtime listeners will recognize. And every time you're on, people say to us that they wonder when you're coming back. So here you are. We look forward to the conversation. A lot going on.
Starting in January, I'll have a lot of time to do this.
Retirement, huh?
Yes. Forced retirement in Ohio. So.
Oh, really?
Age restrictions on judges.
You don't seem that old.
Well, thanks for saying that.
Do you go to senior status? Can you go to senior status in Ohio?
You can if I decide to do it, yes. So
you haven't made that decision.
I haven't made that decision.
It doesn't forced retirement, but yet they probably always need judges. If it's anything like Erie, they're begging for the senior judges to.
That's probably true, but I've been working full time for 50 years, so it might be time to do something different. So.
Gotcha. Someone who's not been working full time for 50 years is Paul Bills because he's too young for that. Thanks for coming in,
Boy,
man.
I feel like I'm getting close, though.
I know it does feel that way, doesn't it? We felt we needed a moderate voice here, so Paul's our guy. Many in the audience will not see him. Many in the audience will not see him as moderate. But we just wanted to welcome to the conversation over 3 hours just to enjoy ourselves. I want to quickly a couple of things. It's not the greatest weather in the history of the world right now, honestly, in Erie, Pennsylvania. When you think about the winter that we had, spring was garbage. It really was. It was cold and rainy. Then it went right from 60 to 90. We're baking, and really over the last week or so, we've got this fantastic weather. You wait so long for this weather in Erie, Pennsylvania. Now we get it. Now you hope you hang on to it for a few months.
Best weather in the country.
It is.
Absolutely.
It is. But it's so short. It just feels so short to us.
Yes.
And like last night, we were down at the Cove, down at the end of the dock, and it was just like a perfect temperature, and there was a nice breeze off the lake. It was, the pirate ships and all the, sailboats. It was just really a cool night. I love to be down on the water, in the bayfront whenever it's, like this. People
talk about, I'm sure there are better climates, San Diego. Everybody talks about San Diego, blah, blah, blah. But when the days that are like this in Erie, Pennsylvania, is just nothing like it. You have to take advantage of it. So. And
we cram a lot of living in a short time period.
We do.
Too. We have a lot of festivals, events, things of that nature.
I like it cold. I'm an outlier. I don't, but you can't beat these days. You really can't. So
you're a hockey guy.
I am a hockey guy. That is true. So I don't like sweating. I hate it. It drives me crazy. So anyways, it's just, you have to point that out. We're so critical here of ourselves, right? In Erie, Pennsylvania. It's just who we are. But when you get stretches like this, it's so awesome.
Not me. I love Erie. I always have, always will.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had chances to move. I've had chances to move. David moved, but not that far. I love everything about this place.
Me
Still
too.
And we're probably first in line to be critical when it's fair too, but I wouldn't trade it.
I love the region too. It's not just Erie. This entire region is phenomenal.
It's funny as maybe global temperatures change or whatever, that this may end up being the new whatever, Florida or whatever.
Not in our lifetime.
Probably not in our lifetime. And I'm not saying it's man-made or any of that. I think some of it's natural, but wouldn't that be strange if 1,000 years from now this is where everybody needed? You got to move to Erie, man. This is the place. After all the work they've done to attract people, who just maybe took into climate change or something. It's funny how all that works out, but it's fun to enjoy it. David, we had Joel and I talked last week because we're doing radio and there's so much not local live radio anymore, as you lamented, pulling in and this organization and Joel's commitment to live radio is so important to this community. We lost Barry Dane Steinhagen,
Yes.
who, guys like you and I would never have agreed with on anything. But
And we didn't.
when I talked to him, to Joel about this a couple of weeks ago, that, I enjoyed him. I never had any problem with him. The show was entertaining. This business is first and foremost about entertainment. And I thought he did it, better than anybody back in the time. And I know you want to recognize that.
At the other station, we would interface with him. You mentioned to me we never really did a show with him, but
Right.
we had a lot of communication with him, and that was back in the era when you could disagree with people without burning their house down.
Yeah, true.
I disagreed with him about most things, but he was always a gentleman. He always made you think, and he was always polite. And we've lost that art in this country.
Do you think that? Really? Paul?
At this point in time, I'm hopeful we're going to recover it. But
Really?
look at the families that have been torn apart by all this nonsense, and friendships that have been dissolved, and we're in a bad place in this country because of this nonsense.
And you think that's changed over the years? That
Yes, much worse.
Really?
Much worse.
Civil War era. I mean, you had a guy
Well, I
beaten over
wasn't
the head in
around.
the Senate, for
I
goodness
wasn't
sakes.
around then, but
I understand that, but
as between families and neighbors and friends, the political divide in this country has never been as great as it is now.
You think
in
that,
my
Paul?
view.
I do. There's a lot of reasons for that, but yeah, I totally agree. I think that we're more divided now than ever, and I always jokingly say I would love to get back to the point where I don't like you because you're a Browns fan.
Yes.
Rather than who you voted for. So
Browns fans don't like Browns fans.
Yeah, he's an idiot Browns fan. He's living over there, so what is he supposed to do? Enjoy your another 3-14 season or whatever it is you
If we're
people deal
lucky.
with. And you don't think, are the issues, you don't mean everybody should meet in the middle and all be moderates. You mean we're just not tolerant of other people's views.
No, I have family members that basically won't talk to us. I have friends whose families have been dissolved over this that I would never have believed. I personally have come up with a stance on these things. When somebody starts a conversation, my response is, I don't know Donald Trump. I don't know if I would like him. I don't know if I don't like him. But I don't know Donald Trump. But I'm happy to talk about any specific issues you want to talk about. And that's the way I leave it. And that quiets most people down because, I won't deal with people who just hate people for the sake of hating them without really looking at the issues. So, but it's never been as bad as it is now in terms of the division.
Huh? You feel that way too, Paul?
yeah, I mean, but I'm just not a fan of very negative people. Period. So on any side. So I don't like to dwell on those people. So if somebody doesn't like my stance on something, and politically, when I see the national stage and how negative it is on both sides, I don't like it. But that's where we are today.
Yeah, I don't talk a lot of politics. You do it here because this is what we do here, and I'm a politician. But I don't. We're talking about roads and parks and taxes, and I just don't. I have a lot of friends I don't agree with at all politically. We just don't bring it up.
Yeah,
I
stay
don't.
away
I just
from
don't
Yeah.
care. I mean, I care, but not with friends. Who cares?
Right. I agree.
I have some old friends that are downright militant now, but I still get together with them. We talk. We just don't talk about this.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
talk about old times.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear you guys' take on it. All right, we got a lot of topics to get through, a lot of things going on nationally and locally. You can join us in conversation at 814-679-1080. We will do that now. You're on the Joel Natale Show. Caller, you there? All right. Yeah. I can't hear him, but I heard that. You can't? All right, let's come back. Just we'll figure it out. We're going to figure it again. It takes 5 of us to replace Joel, so we'll figure it out. Just buzz back. We'll work that out. So we'll get back to all of that. Clearly, the news of the day is Lindsey Graham's death. That was shocking because I think everybody's waiting on Mitch McConnell or Joe Biden, for goodness sakes. Shocked a lot of people. A couple of quick takes, and I want to get you guys' take on it. First of all, the three of us, well, Paul and I had major medical incidents, let's be honest.
For sure.
And neither one of us were
So have I.
Yeah, I know. Neither one of us were shy about sharing that publicly.
Right.
I don't want to do that to you, David, but the three of us have been through major near-death experiences. Let's be honest. I should definitely be dead. I can't. I mean,
Same.
that's just that's just the reality. Now, David, you went through some of these things too. It bothers me when anyone is political around a death.
Yes.
It really it makes me angry.
And it didn't take long yesterday.
It didn't seem to, and that's on both sides. I mean, you
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
That starts at the top.
I mean, I don't get that. It looks today. I know there were a lot of theories about it. The black helicopter theories are out there, but it looks like he ignored symptoms of some sort of heart issue because he told his staff, "I'll go to the hospital. Or I'll get treated after I go and meet the press." Sunday morning, which he was scheduled to do, and didn't even make it. Never ignore the symptoms. Let me tell you, as somebody who suffered from something very similar, just don't ignore the symptoms as best you can. I thought, if you saw Cory Booker's video today, either of you say that, I thought it was fantastic, right? I think there have been good tributes. I think you don't have to agree with somebody politically to not to not celebrate their passing, for goodness sakes. But David, your thoughts on Lindsey Graham as a politician, as a human, and on the stories you've seen today?
He was somewhat of a unique politician because from time to time he had both sides that were opposed to him and his the stances that he took. But I think he pretty much did what he believed in. His stance with the Ukraine is now well established, his support of the Ukraine. So we certainly could have a worse senator than Lindsey Graham. It's already the shuffling started before the body was cold as to who's going to get this position.
It's amazing.
It looks like, before I came in here, it looks like they're going to appoint his sister to be the interim senator with a primary in August and then a general election in November.
Right.
So short-term effect, I doubt that his passing would have a great impact because if his sister actually takes over, you would assume she would be in line with his beliefs. But and South Carolina is a pretty red state, so it's unlikely that there would be a dramatic change in the composition of the Senate in the long run.
Yeah. Your thoughts, Paul, just on Lindsey Graham?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that his sister/daughter, because he adopted her, so she's also his daughter.
Oh.
His parents died young,
because,
and then to get his military benefits, he adopted her because he took over her care once because she was 19, I think, and she was 13 when their parents died. So, I mean, I think that when John McCain passed away, I think that really changed who Lindsey Graham was. I think that John McCain kind of kept him in line. They were really good friends, and Joe Lieberman also. And I think that he struggled to keep a stance and stay with it. Like, he would change a lot depending on how the president would go. I mean, you saw him on January 6th and how, but I mean, he, nobody should be, celebrated because they died, but, and it's sad that happens, but it happens, that it starts at the top. When Robert Mueller died, the tweets or whatever Trump was putting out, it was just, it's gross, but it happens.
Well, Robert Mueller put Trump through a lot. I'm not.
Regardless.
I understand that. Probably could have been phrased better. I'll give you that. But
I'm glad he's dead because he can't hurt
no,
anybody
I
now.
wouldn't phrase it that way. I'm not. But Robert Mueller put Trump through a lot, and
sure.
and I think they were lies and they were made up, and that just seems pretty clear. But
Maybe.
I wouldn't use those words, Paul.
Right.
I get it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't
Starts
get
at
me
the top.
started on that one. Cause
Well, we could. Yeah, I
go
know.
for about a half hour.
I know you'd have a lot to say.
Or
We're
Rob
gonna-
Reiner the same.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a fine example. So, all right, we're going to break here. We'll come back. We'll continue the conversation. We are live here on the Joel Natale Show on Talk Erie, and we'll continue right after this. You want me to do that? It is 3:23, live from the Kingdom Financial Group studios. You are listening to Talk Erie. This is the Joel Natale Show. Dean Pepicello, Attorney Dave Schroeder, Paul Bills are in with us. I don't have the traffic. I can tell you the weather is absolutely stinking gorgeous. 82 and sunny. Paul, sound right? About right. The Seawolves had a tremendous split homestand. I worked Friday night, a game they won. They lost like 4 or 5 in a row, and because I worked doing the PA, they won. That's what I'm saying. That's the story, and I'm sticking with it. And they are off for a little bit, and then they go on the road. How about that? I don't know the traffic, but it looked at David. How was it coming in from the west?
It was fine today.
Good. See, traffic is flowing everywhere because the city is fantastic. The weather, Seawolves, all covered. I didn't even need it. See that, Aaron? I needed no notice. Really no notice on that, and I did it. Joel should be
nice job.
Should be proud. All right, we're going to try the phones again. You can join us, 814-679-1080. We'll give it a shot. Caller, are you with us? Caller, we hear you there. Go ahead,
Can you
there?
hear me?
Yep, absolutely. How are you?
Hey, quick question. How are you guys doing today?
Good, thanks.
I was just wondering, not to make light of any war at all, supporting the veterans 100%. Is today a war day or is today a stock trading day?
I don't know. What do you mean?
Well, it just seems like we are at war.
Oh, war.
Like
Okay.
2 or 3 days during the week, and then usually on Friday. Well, Friday we go to war. Sunday evening we have some kind of peace agreement. Are we at war today, or did they change it up at all?
I'm pretty sure we're at war today, but you're insinuating that Trump is trying to manipulate the stock market by his words and actions?
Oh, what? What do you? What?
I'm not questioning. I'm just asking you a question.
No way. Are you kidding me?
So you
He
think?
would never do that.
So you think that that's his sole motivation?
Well, I'm saying, we have to remember that the arms manufacturers, it's going to be looked into as who's taking stock in that, because we're depleting quite a few missiles and ammunition. So this is all going to take place after this war, and we're going to win. It might take a while, but as well as all the infrastructure that's going to have to be rebuilt, and who's going to actually do that. It's an old story, but with this fella, I mean, he's not exactly honest, Dave. And whoever says he is, I don't know where you're living, but hopefully we get out of this thing and everything will be okay for Americans.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, he took us to the conversation about the war. We can do that. We're probably not in 4 minutes before the break, but something I wanted. I haven't gone as far as him. I've been critical of the action in Iran, only because I think the jury's still out at this point. I think it's a bit of a quagmire. I think Donald Trump wanted to be consequential. I think he thought he could bring Middle East peace because he's that special, and nobody could do it before. We have a long history of not being able to do that. But I'm not against the mission yet. Because if it's successful, the world is a better place. The Middle East is safer, and this country is safer. But I think the jury's out. I'm not sure he didn't miscalculate. And I don't know where we are today. I don't know if anyone can tell me where we are in this war today, with the exception of things that he said about, we spend $1 billion a day in operations. Is it worth it? It may very well be. I just think the jury's out. Your thoughts, Dave?
Well, you know what my favorite saying is: one nuclear bomb can ruin your whole weekend.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
For 50 years, we've been told, we've listened to them saying death to America. As late as last week, 1 million people showing up in Tehran for the funeral chanting death to America. And I don't think there's any doubt. Every past president, going back to Ronald Reagan, has said that Iran is the existential threat to world safety and peace. And he did what he felt he needed to do. He did it in conjunction with Israel. Frankly, I believe the last 50 years that the evidence is there. He was the only one who's going to do something about it. How it's going to end up, those things are always risky.
But you support.
In general, I support the war. They've destroyed the American military.
Yeah.
Has destroyed their Air Force, their Navy. They're left with doing what they've always done, which is terrorist attacks on the Straits of Hormuz. And I think that's going to change because quietly the other day, China chimed in and said, Iran, stop. So, I mean, China joins in. There's going to be some changes shortly with respect to this.
Yeah,
So,
Paul?
I mean, I think that he was bullied into this war, and I think that he doesn't know how to get out. I think that the reason all of the past presidents didn't do what he's doing is because of where we are right now.
Quagmire.
Yes, it's just a mess.
All of those things can be true, by the
Very
way.
well.
Right,
Very well.
right. You can both be right on this thing. I think the jury is out to me at this point. Iran is going to do what they've always done. They're going to dig in. They're going to buy themselves time. They know full well there is a midterm election coming and that Donald Trump will be out of office in 2 years. So they know if they just hang on, they might get a more favorable administration. It's what they've always done. I think we would be better at this than the United States government has been today. Not the military, of course, but the leadership. I don't see how he couldn't have seen that this was going to take a lot longer. Again, might be well worth it. Maybe David's right. We're gonna pause here briefly. I'm gonna come back. I want to talk more about this because I think there's a lot to it, and you guys have very different opinions. And it's funny that you both could be right, but it's something you can join us too as well. You're listening to the Joel Natale Show. Dean Pepicello, Dave Schroeder, Paul Bills in. We'll continue after the break here at the bottom of the hour. 3:34. It is Monday, July 13th, 2026. Live at 5th and State from the Kingdom Financial Group studios. This is the Joel Natale Show on Talk Erie. I do not sound nor look like Joel, and that's both good news for him. Dean Pepicello sitting in today with much help from my compadres. Attorney Dave Schroeder is in from Ohio. Judge Dave Schroeder. Sorry, I demoted you.
Yeah,
Maybe
I'm
you'd
not
like
an
that.
attorney anymore.
No.
They made me give that up.
I'm used to it. I've done that for like 30 years or 20 years like it is. So, but the judge is with us, and Paul Bills has joined us in conversation. We'll be live until 6 o'clock. You can join in the conversation, 814-679-1080. We've touched on a number of topics already. Lindsey Graham's death, the war in Iran. We have a whole list that we can get to, but you can join us as well. If you would like to do that now, you are on Talk Erie. Go ahead. Caller, you on? All right. We're not going to do that. So we'll continue here. Just to follow up, just a couple of other questions, your thoughts here as we're talking about the war and what people think. Not incredibly popular with the American public right now.
Clearly not.
Wars generally aren't, I would assume, right?
Nope.
Aside from World War II, I guess. Not incredibly popular. So I think we understand that. How do you think this ends, David, if you were predicting? How and when does this thing end?
I don't think that the Iranians are going to give up. It's a cultural thing with them, and I'm not going to get too deep in the weeds of that, but they're just, remember Baghdad Bob? No matter what would happen in Iraq, he would stand there and say, we had a great day today, we won this. I don't think they're going to give up, but they've been effectively neutered. They've lost their Navy, they've lost their Air Force. I think you're going to see a time where they're going to start giving them a timeline. And really, the only thing at issue anymore is the Straits of Hormuz because of the oil. They're developing alternative routes with respect to that, and they're just going to reach the point where that's of less and less relevance. And then as long as they can't reach us, so what?
So you think it's mission accomplished except for the Strait?
Yes, I do.
Then why not pull out? Because the Strait's still
Because of the
unresolved.
Straits still. And when you say pull out, we're not really there. We're in the vicinity. We're in bases and aircraft carriers and naval vessels, but we have no boots on the ground.
But declare victory and pull out. I mean,
at some point, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. And you have Israel in the neighborhood. If something starts again, they can and will take them out promptly. So,
but you think the Middle East is safer today?
I absolutely do. Yes. And so, the litmus test here: how many other Arab nations joined in support of Iran? For years, we heard you attack an Arab country and you're going to have world war. Not a one.
I would agree. Even today, because they're being hit from Oman, and I'm not a Middle East expert, but
in fact, Iran is actually attacking them.
Exactly.
So
that's what I'm saying. So,
just
Paul, same question to you. How's it end and when's it end? What do you think?
I think that there's going to have to be some kind of truce between the two, and it's not going to end well for us. I don't think that we. How do we not win? We have the strongest military in the world. How is it not over already?
I'll tell you why. Because this country won't commit ground troops, and I understand why. How does it change without regime change? I don't know how you declare that a victory.
No, we just can't. I don't think we can do it without help, and none of our allies want to help because they know how ridiculous the war is.
Or are they afraid of Iran?
Maybe, but that's because they think it's ridiculous. We should have never gotten involved in this.
Or they don't get involved because they don't think they have to. Their big brother's taking care of it for them.
This country has handled a lot of dirty business around the world for a lot of.
But we keep
lesser
hearing,
countries.
like the judge was saying, their Navy is gone and their Air Force is gone. Is there proof of that? Nobody. That's just what Donald Trump said.
It's true. That's true.
We don't
You're not
really
going to
know
get into
that.
that country. You're not going to get.
They're still
access.
bombing.
Correct. That's a fair point, David.
Well, I'm not sure exactly what they're bombing, but we don't get all the information.
I mean, we were told a few days in that everything was obliterated. Well, how do we not control the Strait? How does the Strait of Hormuz not open then?
Right. They were attacking ships in the
Exactly.
Well, those are legitimate questions that should be answered. But at this point in time, the only thing that's even an issue is the Straits of Hormuz. So, once that opened up, the price of gas came down, the price of oil came down. Now Iran has continued with terrorist attacks, this time directed at vessels and other countries. So,
But they came down a little, but not they went up really high and they came down a little bit from that.
And
but
headed
it's
back up now.
Yeah, and they're going back up because of the strait.
The domestic issue
Well,
that I think is a whole nother topic to get
Don't
to.
lose sight of the fact that gas prices at their peak were about where they were at some point in time in the Biden administration, too.
No, we're not.
So,
I haven't lost sight of that. I think that Donald Trump is distracted. I don't. It's fine. Maybe the world is a better place because of this. Again, I think the jury's still out, but I think he's distracted by that. I think if he had focused solely on domestic issues and fixed the disaster I think that the Biden administration was, he would be in a lot better place, and I think the country would be in a better place. And I think he was headed in that direction and decided he wanted to be consequential, which I understand, and save the world. That's kind of a big deal. But I think that's the reality of the situation.
well, I think at some point in time, the verdict of history will tell us
sure.
what the actual reality of the situation is.
Yeah.
But we don't have enough information to form a conclusion about it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. The jury's still out. All right, we're going to try to sneak some callers in if they can figure out how when they're on the air. You can join us 814-679-1080. You are on Talk Erie. Are you there, caller?
All right, we're going to try to sneak some callers in if they can figure out.
Turn your radio down.
Yeah, turn the radio down.
814-679-1080. You are on Talk Erie.
Go ahead, caller.
Are you there, caller?
Hello.
Yes, turn your radio down, and thank you for joining us. What's on your mind?
Yeah, turn the radio down. Go ahead, caller.
I'm going to quit doing this at some point.
Turn your radio down and
Take them off, will you? Take them off. Can you go to the next one? Can we go to the next one? All right. Is there something they need to hear when they're on the air, like a swish or something? It's not really brain surgery. Caller, you're on the air? Maybe it's us. Maybe it's me. I don't know. Hang up on that, too. We're going to try one more or not? You sure it's not us? Are you sure they're not hearing a delay through the phone or something? Is it on
sure
us?
It's us,
It-
but I don't know.
All
Just
right.
put it that way.
All right. If we're making your life miserable on the phone, we apologize. We appreciate you taking the time. We'll do our best as 5 rookies. Well, 3 rookies and 2 professionals who've never done this. Try to sub in for Joel today. All right. Let's move on because we were talking about the Senate a little bit, and I want to get your thoughts on a couple of things that are Senate related. First is the complete meltdown of Graham Plattner's candidacy, I guess. Somebody will write a book about how horrific this whole thing was, and I think how bad of a candidate this particular person is. But David, your thoughts? He is officially done. The warning signs seem to be there. Who am I? I'm not a psychologist, but it seemed pretty easy that they were there. But your thoughts on all of
I
that?
saw an interview with the 2 people who supposedly vetted him. It was pathetic. You know, he was picked because they thought he could win.
Sure.
And the Nazi tattoo was probably a dead giveaway, but there were so many other signs that there were issues and problems there. But the only measure was, can this guy win? And they felt he could win. So there he was. But, and just the Democrats took him out.
Mhm.
Have
Oh, yes.
no doubt about that.
Oh, yes.
The Republicans wanted to leave him there because they all knew this information. It was all there to be used at a later time. But not surprisingly, it was 5 days before the deadline for someone else to take his spot on the ballot is when all this comes forth. So I think he was a bad candidate, a bad individual, and he had no business ever being there. So
It's interesting to me where there's sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire, and there was smoke, but the fire I think was this last allegation of alleged rape, I guess, from an ex-girlfriend.
forcible rape is usually not a political bonus.
No, but that didn't come until the end. But again, there was smoke. The Democrats, Paul, I think the Democrats have a problem here in how much is not enough. You know, why not throw him off earlier? Why did it take a rape allegation? And then I think now you're taking away the will of the people. Where there was smoke, they still voted for him overwhelmingly. Now you take away their voice, it makes you think of Kamala Harris again all over. But your thoughts on what the Democrats were thinking here? Not to speak as a Democrat, but just as a political pundit.
Yeah, I
What
just
you
think that he's a bad candidate. I think that when the first few allegations were supposedly Republican operatives that worked for the Republican Party at one point or through them, so it was kind of pushed aside. And then this former girlfriend came out and said what she said, and the Democratic Party did the right thing and they told him to leave. But but I don't think that would have happened on the other side. I think he probably could have won. even if he stayed in.
Even with this latest allegation?
Yeah, I mean,
Really?
I'm glad he dropped out. That's what he should have done. He's a terrible candidate. He's probably a terrible person.
He's actually
But
a
let-
great candidate. You take aside all of that. He's very engaging. He spoke to, I think, he spoke to a number of people in the middle class.
Very intelligent.
About what, they thought government is not doing for you and why you'd be better off. And he connected. He was great at connecting.
For sure.
I'm sure, David, that's what the attraction was. The Democrats, I think, have huge problems here, though. It seems like win at all costs. That's what it feels like to me.
Not even that. It's just win, period. There's things going on politically. I don't know whether you're familiar with the Alaska thing, but
Yes, the Sullivan?
Alaska has the ranked choice ballots.
Yeah.
So the Democrats went out and found another candidate with the same name as the existing senator to try and split that vote so that he wouldn't. This guy's never been in politics,
Right.
has no background, no experience. It's a complete sham, but they did it to split the vote so that they could potentially win that seat. Yeah, that's wrong to me. But
The judge in that case, was it an Alaska Supreme Court?
no,
I don't
it
know.
was a state court judge in Alaska.
A state court judge ruled that was okay. Like,
Well, because
how
he-
is it not?
How is
Seriously.
it not? That's correct. He followed the proper formalities to be a candidate. He timely filed his petitions, as you know, as an elected official. That's the key. Timely file your legitimate petitions, and you're on the ballot. That's how our system operates. But in this instance, it was no coincidence that he had the same name. It's no coincidence that he was found to do this, and it's the shenanigans that were intended to be accomplished here. And he's going to be on the ballot. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Ranked choice. I've been involved in this stuff for a long time. I still don't understand ranked choice.
You're not a
voting.
fan of it, really?
No, not at all. So
Paul, are you?
I don't really know a whole lot about that, but I mean, do you think that the Republicans don't win at all costs?
well, my honest opinion, no. I don't.
Wow.
I don't
think
either.
that.
I don't. I mean, every race and every candidate are different, but I don't either. I mean,
Do you think 30 years ago the Access Hollywood tape comes out and Trump wins? And then the second time he's accused.
No, probably not.
He's not accused. He's convicted of sexual assault or whatever.
Well, he
whatever was the
That was a civil suit.
the civil suit.
Civil,
Regardless,
civil.
he was found.
was a bit
Liable.
far. David will tell you, there's a far different standard of liability. And
Regardless, he was found 30 years ago. He drops out. He does not run. But because of who he is,
I don't know
we
if
elected
he doesn't
him.
run. I don't know if he wins 30
Right.
years ago. I just think there was a different feeling in the electorate. Go
I
ahead,
don't
Dave.
think you can measure anything by Donald Trump's standards because he does everything different. Because he is not and never really has been the traditional conventional politician.
Correct.
He just does things his own way. So you might be right. 30 years ago, that might have been defining end to his career. But
why does he get the pass? Why do we say that about him?
Well, okay. Let's go. How about JFK, the president? I mean, the stories are and mostly accurate, but the press covered them up. So would JFK have gotten elected had the voters known about his lifestyle?
Maybe not.
And he was one of maybe the most engaging politician of all time. Maybe not. So I mean, I think it's more of a trends change.
But what's happening with the current situation is he's not hiding it. He is who he is, and we're still electing him.
Plattner.
No, Trump.
well, that may have a lot to do with the candidate that he faced.
Could be. Absolutely.
Yeah, in my view, candidly, she was absolutely pathetic.
However, I would never vote for somebody that was liable for sexual assault ever.
Well, that's
And
always
now
a
the Supreme Court
complicated-
makes him pay $5 million because they're like, yeah, you did it. You got to pay the money.
Can you talk about that, the civil case as opposed to the criminal? Because it's important here in the,
It's a
in the
different
conversation.
burden of proof. It's a preponderance, at least in the two states that I worked in. It's a preponderance of evidence, which is 51% versus 49%. So it's a completely different standard. It's not proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Having looked into her allegations against him, they seem to be specious at best, and there were a lot of people behind the scenes. A lot of guns were focused on him to try and destroy him at all costs. So I myself, there may have been a verdict, but I look at the forum that it arose from. I looked at the evidence. I never put a whole lot of stock in it, but
Yeah.
there was a verdict.
Right. Now, to Paul's point.
So you don't trust the system
In that particular instance, no.
because it's Donald Trump.
Because it was when you have an attorney general in the state of New York who runs and the mayor of the prosecuting attorney in Manhattan, Alvin Bragg, on the platform, I'm going to get Donald Trump, then there's something seriously wrong. This justice system does not focus on individuals, it focuses on crimes. For this justice system to work properly, they have to find out that a gas station was robbed, they do an investigation, and then they find out who did it, and they prosecute them. In New York, Letitia James and Alvin Bragg ran on the platform, they're going to get him, and they started in immediately to do that.
So there was no crime.
Well, he was never charged with a crime with respect to that. To the sexual thing with her, it was well past the statute of limitations.
Right, but he was found liable, so
he was
did
found
it.
civilly liable by a jury in the state of New York, city of New York, I believe that occurred in too. So, do I think that was a rigged game? Personally, yes, I do. I don't think it was a
And there were
legitimate
others.
process.
There were other rigged games. We know that. History would tell you, not that particular case. But if you were in the House of Representatives during the Clinton impeachment, would you have voted for his impeachment?
I don't know, because I don't know.
Should he have resigned?
I don't know enough about it to say that.
You think it would have affected an election?
For sure.
The Trump
It should have,
allegation.
yeah.
Like the Plattner thing. You think it would affect? Okay, that makes more sense.
Like
I understand your point.
Yeah, I mean, he used his power against a woman. So yeah, I think that he probably should have resigned.
Okay. I appreciate the consistency, and it's not a gotcha question. I'm curious because you don't want it to be political, right? I mean, I think his point is right. It seems to be the Democrats who are always win at all costs. It feels that way. They threw Joe Biden out. Like it didn't matter. A primary didn't matter. Now their primary doesn't matter with Graham Plattner. It doesn't matter that he won with 89% of the vote or whatever his number is. And I know that this changed. There was a rape allegation. It's a big deal, but
Kamala Harris ended up becoming the vice presidential candidate because the Democratic Party felt they had that kind of an issue. She was polling 3% in California, her home state. And they ended up, the entire primary got washed away. They ended up picking Biden because he had a name recognition that could defeat Trump, and they named her because they thought she filled some other boxes in the thing. But, when's the last time anybody's voted for a Democrat in a primary? I can't even remember.
It's starting to feel that way. Like, I think that the Democrats want to flip the Senate so bad, that Plattner was the guy who could get them there. He probably would have won. And obviously it was a bridge too far. They felt this allegation was going to get them beat. So he gets tossed. Yes. He probably would have stayed in. He denied the allegations.
Oh, he would have stayed in.
What's the point for him to drop out? He said, I didn't do it. It's all BS. So they ran him out of town. It seems win at all costs, Paul.
Because the Democrats, the people that were funding his campaign, the Democratic people were like, we're pulling our money because
That's just what I was going to say.
It's gross. Yeah.
It always comes down to money.
Always.
So. Yeah, interesting. All right, we will break here. We will continue the conversation. You are listening to the Joel Natale Show live from the Kingdom Financial Studios. Dean Pepicello, Dave Schroeder, Paul Bill's here. Be here till 6 o'clock. About 4 minutes in front of 4 o'clock. It is a Monday, July 13th edition of the Joel Natale Show. Dean Pepicello and gang in here. We are going to attempt to go to the phones again. You can try to join us at 814-679-1080. I hesitantly ask, caller, are you with us?
Hello.
How are you?
I'm pretty well. Thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate it. What's on your mind?
Well, you've gone down the road so far since I first called. I don't know if it's relevant
okay.
anymore, but we'll give it a shot.
Sorry about that.
I want to pivot back to the war and around with the gas prices you mentioned. I think we're looking at the wrong litmus paper. Look at the diesel prices. The diesel hasn't moved down an inch, but gasoline has. That seems to suggest that the gasoline's being subsidized by the government or somebody. Because, it's all connected to the same petroleum. So, if the tensions are relieved and prices are coming down, you should see diesel come down as well, and we're not. So, for whatever that's worth.
Okay.
Pivot to Erie now. How is it you can go to Mexico and Texas in the heat of summer and find chili anywhere? But in Erie, they call it a seasonal item. What's up with that?
Oh, man. I've never heard that. I love that take. I love it. Are you telling me you can't get chili anywhere in Erie, Pennsylvania right now?
I mean, just good luck. I'm sure you can. You got to know where to go. And I just don't have that kind of chops. I don't know where to go for it.
Well, if anybody knows that, they need to tell us that.
I can't even find tuna fish. That's
Wendy's.
also a seasonal item. It's only Easter.
Yeah,
Tuna fish.
Wendy's has chili.
Wendy's. Who now should be advertising here.
Right.
I don't know if I call it chili, but okay.
Yeah, I'm saying I don't know if that's where we're going
Well,
for our
they're
chili.
leaving. The New York Lunch is leaving. They're being kicked out, right? For the new owners. Do you know where they're going? Are they retiring?
Yeah, the west side one is closing, but I think the east side is still rolling. So.
Come to Westerville.
Oh yeah, Coney
Oh,
Island and
okay.
Westerville. Yes, the Empire of Westerville. Absolutely. See,
Okay.
you can still get this stuff in Erie.
So go to McGarry's. McGarry's on 38.
Always fabulous.
No chili in the summer.
We
no
love
chili in the summer.
We love the local places here. We don't we, man? I love them. So
Yeah.
I think that's a great message. All right, hey, I appreciate it. Thank you for buzzing in. All right.
Thanks.
All right, we're really breaking at 3:58. All right, you guys know better than I do. The juveniles have been left in charge of this studio. Poor Joel Natale is trying to navigate from wherever he is. Nice vacation. Hope you're enjoying it. We will continue 2 more hours of live talk on the Joel Natale Show coming right after the news. 4:06, Monday, July 13th. Do not adjust your radios or change your Facebook dial. I guess it's not a dial. Man, I am not good with this modern stuff. You are listening to the Joel Natale Show on Talk Erie Live from the Kingdom Financial Studios. Joel getting us summer respite, as it may be. And this is one of the days, or the only day, I guess, that we're live in his absence. I'm trying to do him some honor today. Dean Pepicello filling in. My very good friends, Judge Dave Schroeder, Paul Bill's with us on the microphone, Aaron and Shaney here as well, spinning dials and making things work. We are blessed to have both of you. Thank you. They're both pulling out what they have in hair. But doing a heck of a job, and we thank Joel as well for navigating us from elsewhere. So much for vacations. These are the same vacations for the rest of us, probably. You're on vacation till work calls, and then you're working. So, all right, we have a lot to do here. We're going to be here live till 6 o'clock. You can join us at 814-679-1080. But we have people who would like to join the conversation, so we will do that. Caller, you are on the Joel Natale Show on Talk Erie.
Hey, Dino, how you doing?
Good, thanks. What's going on?
Hey, I have one for the judge. I would love to get the judge's take on the Supreme Court rulings regarding birthright citizenship and the extending voting, counting ballots after Election Day.
Yep, me too. Me too.
Okay.
You're going to hang up? Yep.
Real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, caller.
Real quick.
Yep.
I want to just have you guys seen that video in Yellowstone of that poor old guy that got flipped by that bison?
It's incredible.
That is crazy.
How is he? No one will say how he is.
I thought it was,
He's in serious. I
Okay.
got Jim Rome on right now. It says he's in serious condition.
I thought it was fake
That's what.
until I saw it.
Really?
They said it was
Why?
real. Yeah.
Why
Oh,
do
my-
people?
no, that's real.
Why do people think they can do this stuff? Why do they think?
That's what Jim Jerome said when they drove to Yellowstone. He goes, "We didn't get out of the car."
Exactly. With the Darwin Awards or whatever they used to have. Remember these? It's so
Yeah.
you're ridiculous. These are wild animals. Stupid people. Anyways.
Anyway, I would love to hear the judge's takes on the latest Supreme Court rulings. I'm forgetting one. Oh, Trump. Apparently, Trump's allowed. He's allowed to fire people.
Oh yeah, that one and women, men and women's sports. There were 4 big rulings.
Oh yeah. I would love to get the judge's take on those.
We'll do them all. We'll do them all right now. I appreciate it.
Hey, great. Hey, thanks.
Thank you. Go ahead, David. I know there's a lot here. We wanted to do them, but if you can briefly, I know you've looked at all of these cases.
Yes.
Okay.
The Supreme Court decided 5 cases at the end of the term that everybody was waiting for and that were deemed to be pretty consequential cases. I'm troubled by the Supreme Court right now by what I see to be the politicization of the Supreme Court. In other words, we always have 3 justices that will always vote the conservative side. We have 3 justices that will always vote the liberal perspective or ideology, and then you have 3 in the middle that decide the thing. That's not what we're supposed to do as judges. We have a very clearly defined role, and we have to make decisions that may go against what you believe in, but your obligation is to follow the law. And when I see ideological sides taken that are almost inviolate, you can always count on 3 and 3, and then the 3 in the middle to decide it. I'm troubled by that.
In the U.S. Supreme Court.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's not what they're there for.
I agree.
They are supposed to be the stopgap between politics and the law and the Constitution, and that's not the way that it's looking. You know, some of these decisions, and I would tell you, I actually had the opportunity a couple of years ago. I was at a judges conference, and there was the attorney from Fox News who was there. That's always a commentator, and he spoke, and I got the opportunity to meet him, and I actually confronted him about that issue, and he said that he feels the court is not political, that a high percentage of these cases are decided 9-0, but they're the cases we don't hear about.
Sure.
Right? It's the high-profile cases, like the 5 that were decided now, are the ideological boundaries are set on these things. And there's 3, 4 important cases next year where you can almost predict the way that they're going to come down. Now,
But look at birthright citizenship. Like the Constitution essentially says, if you were born in this country, you're a citizen, right? And I doubt it was intended for immigration as it exists today, probably related to the race issues, segregation, civil war issues, right? But
that's not all it
It's
says.
not a slam dunk. Like,
No,
It wouldn't
that's-
surprise me there would be a ruling that would be a 5-4 or whatever.
All persons born or naturalized in the United States, comma, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof.
What's that mean?
That's a very good question because that was never really considered. I read some articles before they decided that. What does that mean? Are people who just happen to be here for a week or even a day subject to the jurisdiction of the United States? The interesting thing about that decision is that the dissent may well open up the door for that to be challenged by statute. To me, it's just wrong, and it gives rise to, the birthing industry. There was a hospital that immediately started advertising in Mexico. Come to the United States, we'll charge you $3,500 for birth, and your child is then a U.S. citizen. That's just wrong.
There's a bill being introduced today that is not an amendment. It's separate. I don't know how all of that works, but basically says you have to be born. You can be born in this country, but your parents have to be in the country permissibly or something.
That
Doesn't even say
falls under the
legal.
category of subject to the jurisdiction thereof.
But you and I can't agree maybe on what that means. How would 9 people agree? Like it doesn't surprise me that it would be a 5-4 vote on that.
That decision, because of the express language, didn't really surprise. I don't agree with it, but it didn't
surprise
really
you.
shock me.
Okay, me either.
That much because of the language. I do think, personally, I think it needs to be changed. When you have a birthing industry that has developed, and it's always the unintended consequences of these things. I mean, it sounds great. A baby's born here, he's a citizen. Well, does that mean he's entitled to all the benefits, tuition, everything else that the rest of us have to pay for? It's always the law of unintended consequences. That law arises from 1868. The intent of that constitutional amendment, the 14th Amendment, was to ensure that slaves and their children were properly taken care of. No one could have ever anticipated back then what would be taking place in this country now. It needs to be fixed, as far as I'm concerned.
With an amendment?
No,
Just needs to be fixed.
It's statute.
Legislatively
There's-
fixed. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
What they
And
did
that's-
today.
And that's basically what the Supreme Court said, by the way.
I think it was Senator Marino from Ohio introduced the exact same language that Harry Reid introduced when the Democrats were trying to stop it. Same bill.
Yeah.
So now I think the assumption is the Democrats will challenge it. But the bigger question is this, to me, and I've always wondered this, and I've asked a lot of people. I mean, during the Biden administration, the borders were just opened up. This country was flooded with 10 to 20 million people, are the estimates that I hear. My question is simple. Why? Why was this done? To allow all these people to come into this country, and some of this took place during COVID when they weren't vaccinated, when they came in here and they're getting college tuition and other education provided to them, when they're getting government benefits. Why was this allowed for the first time?
I want to get to the other cases. You want to take a shot at why, Paul? Because I'll give you mine. Mine's black helicopter stuff. I'll tell you that.
Go ahead. You could take it.
Oh, I
because
think the
just completely
Democrats who were in
disagree.
charge absolutely wanted to turn Texas blue. Think that it was the Democratic administration let me in, and I'm going to be a Democratic voter forever. Thanks for letting me in. I do, and I'm not a conspiracy guy for the most part.
Not quite that simple. It may be the explanation, because I heard this years ago. I mean, these people aren't going to come in here and start legally voting right away. But what I have heard is that the number of congressional seats is dependent upon not U.S. citizens, but residents of the state. So if they flooded Texas with a number of new residents, that it would increase the seats, and they were hoping to flip that control of that. Because quite frankly, if Texas would ever flip to become reliably blue like California and New York, it's over.
Oh, yes.
Republicans would never win another election.
That's why I think it was a factor. Now, there are a lot of business owners, developers that use immigrant labor, let's be honest.
Oh,
right? They fill a
absolutely.
lot of jobs that aren't typically filled by what a native U.S. born, whatever. They fill a lot of jobs. So there's a benefit to that, obviously.
And there's benefit to both sides, okay? But you need to go up to Madison, Ohio sometime. There's a lot of migrant labor in Madison, Ohio. And right on 528, heading into Madison, one of the garden center places has built a large operation to house these individuals. It's like barracks of people to come and work in the nurseries. And I look at it, I see them walking down the road to go to the store because they don't have transportation. Is this really humane? I don't look at that as being humane. I'm sure they're being paid, everything like that, but I just, that's not my idea of how this should be done.
I think immigration is such an easy issue. Come here if you want. Just let us vet you. Just come here legally. It just doesn't seem to be such a difficult. I think what the Biden administration did was wrong, and I think the Trump administration has handled it poorly. They continue to just deport everybody. Just get the bad guys out, and let's go. And our policy going forward is let us vet you, and we welcome you. It just doesn't seem hard to me.
Well, I have a better
Maybe it's
idea.
naive.
They ought to let guys like me, I ought to be able to pick the Americans that have to leave. I'm not sending you to prison. I'm sending you out.
We'd all be good with that. Any thoughts on immigration in general? I want to get him to the other cases.
No, I mean, I think that immigration is a good thing, and I think we should, figure out how to do it correctly and welcome as many people as we want, because we don't have enough people.
It's just vet them. I don't want any bad guys.
I
in here.
agree.
It's cool. It's not that hard to figure
And
out.
if the Trump administration would have done what they were said they were going to do, get rid of the bad people, and that was it, that's not what they're doing.
I think they've struggled with
They're
it.
trying to hit a number,
But-
and it's becoming dangerous.
But they inherited a disaster because they opened the border and let anybody in. There's culpability on both sides. I just think it's not that hard. But regardless, all right, I want to break here because I want to come back. I want to do those other Supreme Court cases that the caller mentioned, mail-in voting and those things. So we'll continue. Joel Natale Show live from the Kingdom Financial Group studios. .420 on a sunny Monday afternoon in downtown Erie. You're listening to the Joel Natale Show. Joel is on his summer break. Dean Pepicello, the judge, Dave Schroeder, Paul Bills joining us. Aaron and Shaney helping us with everything else that goes on. They're the reason that we're on the air. All we have to do is blab. So we are blessed to have you two. Thank you so much. The judge is with us. I want to continue. We left off quickly. Can you talk about, I find this one fascinating, the mail-in ballot case. I forget the Mississippi or I forget the state where Republican Party challenged accepting mail-in ballots after Election Day, regardless of postmark. And they ruled essentially that they were fine. Your thoughts on that decision?
I don't necessarily disagree with that decision for this reason. I'm a judge. We depend upon the United States mail to deliver hearing notices. In Ohio, much more so than Pennsylvania, we depend upon the mail to deliver original process. And I can tell you that the mail system is broken. So I have very low confidence that when we send out a notice of hearing, that it's actually being delivered or sent to the correct address. What this case said is we're not going to put a limit. If it's postmarked before the election and it's within a relatively short period of time, we're going to allow it. It doesn't have to be received before Election Day. Now, in general, I don't disagree with that because of the condition of the post office.
Okay.
I mean, what's the outer limit on this thing? That's the problem. I think elections should be decided on Election Day. You know, they always were when I was growing up in Erie. They were decided on Election Day. The only concession I ever saw to the voters in Pennsylvania when I was a kid, and I lived across the street from a tavern, was that they closed the taverns on Election
Utterly
Day
ridiculous.
until 7:30. And I lived on West 26th Street. There would be guys lined up waiting for the doors to open at 7:30 to the tavern. But I don't have a quarrel with that because I think that the mail, it's just simply not dependable right now. So to give them a little bit of leeway, as long as it's properly postmarked beforehand, I don't like extending the election, but we have to do something with this particular issue. And by the way, that's I don't agree with mail-in voting at all. So. But if you're going to have it, then you have to make this exception. But I believe they should give everybody Election Day off and to give them the opportunity to vote on Election Day. Mail-in voting has opened a lot of doors for trouble that didn't exist before. But
I agree with you. I suspect Paul disagrees.
Yeah, I mean, because there's no proof of any. I mean, the Heritage Foundation did a research that said that in the last 40 years, they've had 10 issues with mail-in voting, 10 votes, 10 ballots, that was it, out of like 60 million or some ridiculous number. It's more than that. But so, yeah, I think we're trying to create an issue that's not there.
Absentee voting has always existed if you had a
Right. Oh,
legitimate
for sure.
reason. So
Yeah.
why they expanded this to do this, if you can't get out of your house and go vote, not even on Election Day. In Ohio, we have early voting. You got a month to vote. I just think you should, my own feeling, go do it in person.
But you have
It's
to
that
do it in
important.
person. You have a month, but you can go to the courthouse, Ashtabula County Courthouse or something?
It's next to the courthouse, the Board of Elections.
Okay.
You can go and vote at. But
you're in person. They're checking who you are. I love that.
I also don't think that the federal government should have any say at all. I think the states should decide on their own what they do with their own states, like it says in the Constitution that we do.
Yeah, but the states can't control the conduct of federal elections. That's the issue. If it's just a state election, then the state can control it. But federal elections, they cannot.
But I think a state should be able to decide whether they accept mail-in voting for
well,
a week later or whatever. I mean,
that's what this decision basically said,
right?
That they're going to allow it for some period of time thereafter.
I'm fine with states making decisions like this because I want to vote for that person that makes that decision. And if you know they don't agree with the way I feel, so what? I really like being able to vote for a representative to make these types of decisions.
I always vote in person. I walk in. I have my driver's license in my hand. I hand it. They have a big sign that says "S. Come to this desk." It takes about 2 minutes to go through the whole process.
So Ohio does not have mail-in voting?
I've never done it, so I don't believe that they do. They have early voting, but
Right.
they don't
Other
have
than
mail-in
the
voting.
excuse.
Absentees.
Yes, the absentees
Right.
like
they have
that.
early voting. Starts 3-4 weeks before the election. If you're going to be out of town on vacation or work or whatever, you can go in and early vote, but you have to go and you have to produce identification. And not surprisingly, we have our election results. I can tell you right now the early results will be in at the polls close at 7:30. The early results are in at 8:15.
Sure.
Because they've calculated those beforehand.
Yep.
And the election's done and everybody's heading home at 11 o'clock.
Can you count them before the polls close?
The Board of Elections can.
They
yeah.
can, so they can count them early.
Early, because early voting stops
Right.
a day or two before the election. So they have that reservoir
They've counted
of
them.
early votes and they count them. They don't disclose it, but
Of course.
they count them.
You don't do that in Pennsylvania. It's crazy. They won't count them until the polls close. It makes no sense to me. What's the difference? How is one going to be potential for fraud and the other not? That doesn't make sense. But
I think we should have elections decided on election day,
yeah,
period.
Understood. Interesting take, both of you. I'm with David on this one. We have a call? All right, we will head to the phones quickly. You are on Talk Erie. Caller, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. We're talking about the mail-in ballots. Everybody has had those ballots mailed out early. In order to have them counted on Election Day, they have to be change the law and says it has to be postmarked in order enough time, like a week, 2 weeks ahead of time, in order for them to get there for Election Day. So we can have an election result on Election Day, not like in California and Arizona where we got to wait a month to count these ballots. Can they do something like that? I mean, everybody knows that they're going to mail their ballot in. Just make the cutoff as to what they think the delay that the U.S. Postal Service could have, and it has to be mailed by that day, and put it on the instructions. Must be mailed by X day.
That doesn't seem to make much of a difference, regardless of what the instructions say. But again, I don't disagree with this decision in practice, but I disagree with mail-in voting entirely.
Yeah, I get it. Same principle, though, caller. I get what you're saying. That way, at least you know on Election Day. It makes sense.
Now,
nobody can trust the U.S. mail. I mean, that's what it comes down to, I guess.
Due respect to my colleague here, he's made reference to the fact that there's never been any evidence of any fraud or misdoing with respect to this.
I just said it's limited. I didn't say there was never any.
Well, I know, and I've read some articles. I'm not prepared to argue it today, but quite to the contrary, that there's significant evidence of ballot harvesting and things of that nature that occurred, and that's just wrong.
But nobody's been able to prove any of that.
Well,
There's been plenty of trials to try to prove otherwise, and they keep failing.
No, and it's not illegal. You can go into the nursing home right now and they fill it out, right? You can do that.
Is that right?
So what's there to prove that there's no crime unless they're filling them out for them? Which, again, you're making it ripe to me for that's. I'm worried about that. You're making it ripe for fraud. Should everybody? Let me ask you this, Paul. Should every registered voter get a ballot? Because that happens in some states. Should we just automatically get a ballot?
Sure, I would like that actually, because if I could, but I wouldn't use it. Only for reference, like beforehand. A lot of times you go into vote, you don't know who half the people you are voting. Like my parents. My dad will sit with his mail-in ballot, and he'll research each individual person and then make an informed decision on who he's voting for.
You can look up a sample ballot. Most election offices have them
right,
now.
but most people don't.
No, most people don't.
But that's why he likes to
do mail-in.
So,
sure, that's
and
one reason for it.
There's a lot of 70, 80-year-old people that's what they like to do.
And that's a point well taken. I'll give you that.
And they like to, in November, not have to worry about, is it going to be 20 feet of snow outside and I got to try to get to the polls.
To me, that's excuse worthy. Okay, this is me. Here's my license. This is the person I am. Give me my ballot because I want to research the candidates. Okay.
Yep,
that's fine.
Point well taken.
Yeah, interesting. All right, we are going to break here at the bottom of the hour. We'll keep you updated with all things going on. We're halfway there. We'll be here till 6 o'clock on the Joel Natale Show on Talk Erie. About 26 minutes ahead of 5 o'clock, a Monday edition of the Joel Natale Show on Talk Erie Live from the Kingdom Financial Group studios. Dean Pepicello sitting in. The Judge Dave Schroeder, Paul Bills joining us in conversation as well. We will go back to the phones in just a minute at 814-679-1080. David, back to the Supreme Court cases that the caller asked you to comment on, 2 of the 3. The third is Trump's ability to who he can fire and not. Can you help us through that? Because I don't understand the head either.
Sure, and let me preface this by saying this. Some of these decisions that are coming out, the Supreme Court doesn't turn on a dime. So there have been some issues that have been pursued all the way to the Supreme Court, and you are creating the law of the land that's probably going to be with us for a long time. Plessy versus Ferguson, the separate but equal doctrine, as bad as that was, it took 50 years to change it. So this may well be one of these decisions that it's going to take a long time to change it. Some of the other decisions as well, but it just doesn't come back up every year. It won't be back up again. And some of the frivolous challenges of this stuff have resulted in a very dramatic change in the executive office powers. He's lost some cases, but he's also won some cases that will forever change the landscape of the executive office. And you better be careful what you wish for. And this case is one of them, because there's always been a buffer between the executive and all of the offices below him, the various positions. Now, this case decided a contrary, that the executive does have the authority to terminate people and take action against them. I don't necessarily think it's a good idea for the president to be meddling like that, but this case has opened the door for that. Now, where it stopped was for the Fed, the federal banking system. He tried to terminate the one federal commission member, and they said, no, there's always been separate and distinct. Monetary policy is not something that should be subject to the executive branch. So they stopped there, but they opened up a door to a lot of future activity that I'm not sure people want to deal with. There's always been a certain level of protection, but the office of the president, because of some of these cases that in my view should never have been filed, should never have been challenged, the executive branch has been changed forever because of these decisions. You got to be careful what you wish for.
Certainly the criticism of the Supreme Court was they were beholden and influenced by Trump.
I don't believe that.
But based on what you just said, no, because if the next president's a Democrat, they're going to have the same power.
And he lost, for example, the decision that he went to the Supreme Court and actually sat there, first time ever. The president walked in and sat in on an argument. He lost probably the bigger cases that he was interested
Birthright.
in. He won, that one, and some of the other ones that he lost. But, you know, these are significant changes that are taking place. Probably the biggest one of all and is when they limited the power of the federal courts to issue injunctions. And this was in response to every time he did something, they'd run out and get an injunction against him, which is probably the subject for a whole show.
Sure.
Because I just think I'm very suspect about the federal judiciary in this country as a result of this.
Why is the judge in D.C. far different than the judge in whatever, pick your rural county? Isn't the law the law?
Why was the case filed there? How did it end up in this judge's hands? We have a random distribution process. We have a computer that when a case comes in, it gets randomly assigned to one of the 3 judges in my court. It's supposed to be the same way there, but why do the same judges continually end up with these high-profile cases? Maybe it's random, but it shouldn't. It should be random, is what I'm saying, and it gives rise to judge and forum shopping. And that's another thing altogether.
Why wouldn't you judge shop if you could? We all would.
You know, I go back to, I have a magistrate as a judge. It's kind of like an assistant judge. And I've made the joke, it was a magistrate that issued the search warrant against the president, the ex-president of the United States House.
Right,
where he lived. And I've made the joke, I could just imagine if I walked in and said to my magistrate, how things going? Oh, pretty good. I issued a search warrant against the president.
Yeah.
That was complete nonsense. They were there was somebody well above him that orchestrated that whole thing to issue that search warrant. So these things, the injunction situation, that's going to be a problem down the road for people.
Yeah, I meant to ask you about that, so it's interesting you comment on it. Back to the phones, 814-679-1080. You are on Talk Erie.
Gentlemen.
Yes.
Did you, Dave Schroeder, is that, no, Dave, where are you a judge?
In Ashtabula County.
Okay, Ashtabula County. I just want to say it's refreshing to have someone who has his head on straight making decisions from the bench. And, you can take that the way you want to, but there's so many of these judges have their heads so far up their backside they can't see or smell anything. And you know what I'm talking about. As far as the cases, Paul, you made a comment about all of these cases have been, about the election, have been tried and kicked out. Very few of them, if any, as far as I know, have even gone to trial, have even had evidence presented before a judge. They just kick them out right away because the courts don't want to get involved with us. You need to do your reading because you don't know what you're talking about there. The other thing is I want to talk about is
but there's no evidence. So if there's no evidence, there's no reason to take it to trial, which is what's happening.
They don't look at the evidence.
There is none. That's the problem.
They don't look at the evidence. Lots of evidence. Have you ever, believe me, there's lots of evidence. Your news shows don't tell you about evidence. That's your problem. It'll just let that lay. Locally, when Erie took this is something small, the inspections from a third party to in-house, this is all just to make money because they're millions in debt. And this will be all political because the people who worked down there before, the city handled it before, didn't know jack squat about what they were doing. They're all political appointees. And I can tell you that my mother-in-law had two people come through she had owned a flat, and her husband died, and she didn't want to bother with that. Well, then the city comes up with this, inspection crap, which is, I can see smoke alarms, but anything else, these people, I'm telling you, they don't know what the hell they're talking about because I've experienced the housing authority was the same way years ago. They would call for handrails when the roof was leaking like a freaking sieve. They didn't know what they were talking about. So that's what you got now. They want to make money on this because basically that's all it is anyways, a tax. And they're going to screw it up. I'll let you go.
All right. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Is there another one, Shaney, or not? Okay. I want to switch gears. Paul, I want your opinion on John Fetterman. You are left-leaning independent. Would that be fair?
I mean, I see both sides of everything, and I voted on both sides, so I think I like to consider myself sort of in the middle.
But then, all right, John Fetterman should be your candidate. Should be your guy, don't you think? I'm trying not to make that assertion. What do you think of John Fetterman?
He's just. I like people that when they come out and they tell you how they believe, they stick with it. And I just don't feel like he's living up to what he said he would, what kind of candidate and senator he would be.
Really?
Yeah.
Meaning that he's not the Democrat you thought he was? Where's he? I don't know that he's flipped. Maybe he has. I don't know. I think he's been pretty consistent on Israel. Fairly consistent on immigration. Maybe that's not fair. Like something specific?
No, I feel like he's not. I don't know. Is he? I don't know what he's doing. Like what? So. Has he sponsored anything? What's he doing? I feel like he had all of this. I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go, and I don't know if he's done anything.
Well, he actually has sponsored the hot rotisserie chicken.
Yes, he did. Yes,
exactly.
For food stamps. Yes.
And don't get me wrong. I did not like John Fetterman. I didn't think he should ever have been elected because I thought there were some cognitive issues there. I think he's one of the few people in Congress that votes his conscience. Dean and I have talked about this. He probably has very little chance of winning a primary.
There's no way. There's no way he would be the Democratic nominee for U.S. Senator in Pennsylvania.
So he's paying the ultimate price for that. But he's voting his conscience. I pulled up an article written by him.
I don't think he wants it.
That could be.
Yeah.
Regardless, if he does, what a
isn't-
sacrifice.
Isn't that sad that we have to have somebody who doesn't want to be reelected before he does the right thing? And that's essentially what we're saying here.
It's the best. It may be the best job in the country. I mean, most people die in office. They're Lindsey Graham. I mean, senators. But go ahead, David.
Well, he says, and he wrote this editorial. My party's recent presidential candidates identified Iran as a significant global threat, one that shouldn't be able to require a nuclear weapon. So somebody steps up to do something about it, and now they're all opposed to that for someone trying to stop them. He says the leading state sponsor of terror should be held to account. I agree with that. As you know, I was really opposed to him when it started, but I think he's one of the few people there who actually does what he thinks is right. He finishes this editorial by saying, I'll never be a Republican, because he said I'd be a terrible Republican who still votes overwhelmingly with the Democrats.
Correct.
People should vote their conscience, what they believe to be true. But we have a system where anybody in the House of Representatives, they're up for election in 2 years. So they're not running on the basis of what they were elected for, what is the right thing. They're constantly focused on their reelection.
And the only thing that'll ever change that is if we put term limits on everything, including the Supreme Court, and we take the money out of elections.
Well, I'm not opposed to that. I got a term limit on me. I have to retire.
I do not. Shut your mouth.
I'm the only elected official in the state of Ohio that has to retire by age limitations. So, and that makes no sense whatsoever.
And you're still sharp. I mean,
well, that's debatable.
You'd be overwhelmingly, well, you're a Browns fan, so we understand that. But you'd be overwhelmingly elected again. But interesting take. Were you for term limits, like Paul does? Are you advocating that, or are you just making that as a point?
100%.
Yes. Well, we have, 25 people over the age of 80
exactly
that are in the Senate and
there
House?
Should
That's
be
ridiculous.
I'm not for it. Let the voters make that decision.
It's all about the money. And you get a guy who's been in there for 20 years, there's nothing going to stop him and defeat him absent a major scandal. And they keep running for re-election. Some of them...
That's on the voters. I mean, give me a younger, better, sharper candidate, and they'll raise the money and win.
That's not what it comes down to. It's all a money game. When people are spending $50 and $100 million to get reelected, the incumbent always has the advantage there. The incumbent can always raise a boatload of money and get reelected. And there should be an outer limit. Paul, you and I agree on this. So
there we go. We found something.
But they have the burden of incumbency, which is you have to vote on stuff. You have to take a stance on stuff. You can be used. All that stuff is always used against us.
But if John McCain wasn't dying, would he have voted for or against the Affordable Care Act?
Probably for it.
So he right, and he voted it down because he voted his conscience, because he wasn't going to be around long. He did what was right. He didn't go with his party. He went with what was right.
No, that's who is a maverick. I mean, and it got him beat. Basically, I think, because Republicans didn't support him.
Here.
But he was dying. He knew he wasn't going to live, and he wasn't running again. He did what was the right thing to do.
Well, you could argue that John Fetterman thought he was dying, for goodness. I mean, everything. I find him to be a unique character. I wouldn't vote for him, I don't think. I guess it depends on who his opponent is, because he does side with liberals 90% of the time. But I think when you look at Israel, his support for Israel is, I don't understand why that's such a difficult issue. We could do that another day. The Iran issue, I don't see the problem with it. I think he'd be the first guy to say, hey, I think the jury's still out and I don't like Donald Trump, but hey, taking a shot at making the world a safer place, I'm in. Why can't Democrats just do that?
Because the mindset, the philosophy is oppose everything Trump does. Regardless of what it is, oppose it.
No, there's a lot of that.
That's not helping this country.
But he's the one that said no new wars, and we're very close to maybe even a world war right now.
I think we're so far away from that. I think that...
Don't be too
sure. I could be wrong, but I think what has transpired here... Have you seen any other Arab nations? Have you seen Russia? Have you seen China?
No.
Stepping up? China, no. As I said, China said the other day to Iran, stop it now.
Yeah,
so
that's fine. I'm with you. But he also said no new wars. I think he violated what he said, the spirit of what he said. I also think things change, and if you think we're in danger, and he said that, okay, then I'm listening. But I think the jury's still out on it.
I don't think we'll ever find out.
Yeah, we'll know. All right, we're going to sneak another call here, 814-679-1080. You are on Talk Erie.
Hey, happy birthday to Joel if he's listening.
And Paul. It's Paul. It's his birthday too.
Paul. Happy birthday, Paul.
Thank
double decker today. Hey, with the term limits, I think we do need it because $174,000 a year, and these guys are spending millions of dollars to get reelected, millions of dollars, and most of them, if not all of them, all have a nice little web of people that they get into certain areas, perhaps family, and everybody's, all milking the cow. We got to end it somehow because these people don't get very good people to run against them because they're just like, I can't beat that person. I don't have the money to stop them. That's why they say, look, they're like, I hate to say this, but they have to die there. If you're first term and you're 65 years old, that's it. You get one term. By the time 65, 70 years old, you got to be done. And that's it. And when it comes to Iran, they have been at war with us forever.
50 years.
Right. Some of us pay attention to that, and then other people want to put their blinders on and hate Trump, hate Trump, hate Trump. I don't like Trump. I don't like Trump. I don't like Fetterman because he likes Trump, or he agrees with Trump sometimes, and I can't live with that person. That's the mentality that's going to get our house split here. No unity, and there's not going to be any middle people. No one's going to come in the middle. It's just going to be far left, far right. And then eventually what you end up with? A divided country. We had that before.
We have now.
Remember how that worked out?
We have that now.
We do. I think we do politically, but I think there's more. There is much more. The media, I think, is the big thing when it comes to division. I think there's more people. You sit down, have a cup of coffee with them, or just a nice little chat. Most normal thinking people, they're like, we can agree on this and we can agree on that. Not, that was a Trump idea, or that's a MAGA idea, or that was an Obama idea, or it was a Biden idea, or whoever was in charge when Biden was president. But you know what I mean? I think that there's more people, when they say independents, the independents don't know what to do. You got people that think there's 72 genders, and then you got the people that think that everything's a conspiracy theory. And we can't get nothing done like that.
Nothing.
And the country's suffering. And we and our representatives are representing us. So if we want term limits, and it sounds like it's on both sides, then damn it, that's what we want.
Well, they're never going to vote the term limit themselves, and that's how it has to happen. So
that's
the Fox can't watch that.
How does the voter have a say in that?
Well, you start to elect people who will do that, who aren't afraid to do it. They're out there. There's plenty of people who run saying, I'm for term limits.
Where?
They're out there.
Where are they? I've never seen.
There's not many of them. Wouldn't be me. I listen. If I'm doing a good job for my constituents and they want to put me back there, I don't care how long I've been there. I don't care if I have influence and my community is a better place because I keep getting elected. That's on the voters.
I think after a while, though, it's just not healthy.
Yeah.
They get power, entitled. Look at these people. You think if a guy's been in Congress for 20 years, that when he gets out, that we don't have to have some kind of police force around him because somebody might want to murder him because we.
No, I get it.
That's get him in, get it in, get out, and people forget, and we get new people.
Yeah, and it's not lost on me that the founders of this country wanted people to serve and get the heck back to what they were doing. I get that too.
Right.
I understand it.
Remember, they used to take horse and buggy to go to the Washington D.C.
I know. I get it.
And then they went back to work.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's a popular view. All right, I got to roll, brother. All right.
God bless you guys.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. We're gonna break. We'll come back, finish this hour here on Talk Erie. All right, just a couple of minutes ahead of 5 o'clock, you are listening to a live broadcast of the Joel Natale Show, live from the Kingdom Financial Group studios at 5th and State. Joel is on a well-deserved summer break. We're trying to give him a summer break, but we keep needing his advice on things. So thanks, Joel. You're the best. Happy birthday to him and to Paul Bills joining us. You got to be 42?
Thank you. Yeah. Add 10, but yeah.
All right. Still much younger. David is 52.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
We're the same age.
And it's not your birthday. And we're going to be here till 6 o'clock. You can certainly join us in conversation. I don't want to start anything new. We just have a couple of minutes till the top of the hour. But a number of things. I want to look at these two. We're debating socialist candidates off the air. I wanted to do that in the last hour as well because we have a lot of that going on. So we'll get to that. I want to ask both of you about patriotism as we have celebrated the 250th birthday of this country. I want to get your opinion on that stuff. I want to look at 2028, your thoughts on presidential candidates that you're hearing. So we have a lot to do in the third hour that listeners and callers can join us as well. But wrap up this Fetterman discussion. Can he go independent and be elected to the Senate? Do you think it's possible to win that seat as a registered independent?
Highly unlikely, but if anybody could have a shot, he might, because he does have support from both sides of the aisle. So he would have a chance. He's not going to win as a Democrat, but that's
nor as a Republican, I wouldn't think.
Well, he's not a Republican,
right?
So.
And he said that.
Yep.
Paul, what do you think?
He can't win. I mean, if
at all?
No. I mean, that's why Bernie Sanders changes to become a Democrat when he runs for any office, and then he just turns back into an independent, re-registers.
Angus Young, man, AC/DC. Angus King, I think, is in Maine or whatever. My mind is on music. I think, does he do the same thing? Is he in Maine, or I can't remember, but he's independent, but probably changes to run for office. So you think he will not be a United States senator?
No, and I don't think he wants it.
Could John Fetterman run for president?
No.
Yes or no?
No.
I think he could. I think he's a better chance to be president of the United States than senator from Pennsylvania, just for the record.
I just think the whole package would
could
not
be too much.
fly.
Interesting stuff. We'll continue another hour to go here on the Joel Natale Show on Talk Erie. 5 minutes after 5 p.m., Monday, July 13th, 2026, live from the Kingdom Financial Group Studios at 5th and State. You heard that live. This is the Joel Natale Show. Joel is enjoying his summer break, the few times that he does take off. But we are live today. Dean Pepicello filling in. This is my normal slot at 5 o'clock, so I finally feel at home sitting here with Shaney, so it's normal for me. But filling in today, Judge is with us, Judge David Schroeder, very popular in these realms. You're one of the few judges who are not afraid to do radio. Is this because you're not in Ohio?
Well, a couple things. Number one, just recently, within the last few months, the Ohio Supreme Court decided judges have First Amendment rights. So we're actually more allowed to do this than we were before. I could never talk about a case that's in front of me. And the rule is I can never talk about a case where what I'm saying might influence the outcome. Well, that's not going to happen here.
Right.
But most importantly, I've only got 5 months to go.
He did ask how strong the signal was.
Did he? Well, most of you listening online or watching on Facebook now, which you can do.
I don't say anything I don't say wherever I'm at,
you're
with
good.
respect to this.
The judge is with us, and Paul Bills has been gracious enough to come down and spend 3 hours with us. Thank you, Paul. We appreciate the balance you bring to the discussion.
You bet. I don't think my jobs care whether I'm here or not.
Yeah. And mine rarely at this point. I work for no one and everyone all at the same time.
Exactly.
Welcome to being an elected official. July 13th is now the 2-year anniversary of the Butler shooting. I'm not sure where we are on that investigation. 2 years removed from that, David, what's your take on all of that, the entire thing?
Well, it's part of a broader category of us becoming the assassination nation. And that plus Charlie Kirk plus the executive in New York City, we're going down a very, very dangerous path.
And don't forget the Minnesota people.
Minnesota people. When people think that is a legitimate response to political differences, assassination, we're in a troubled spot.
Yeah.
And we don't hear much about the facts of the Butler assassination. He's a young kid. How he gets up on that roof with the rifle, how this ever occurs is somewhat of a mystery, and we've not heard a definitive summary of the whole thing.
Or a doctor's report.
Nothing.
Yeah.
We haven't heard anything, have we?
No.
I heard that the Secret Service sniper on the other roof took him out with one shot, with a headshot. So, but the point is, we can't live in a country where assassination becomes an acceptable political tool. And I'll take that one step further. And I know you contributed about the Minnesota thing. It's unclear exactly what the motivation there was, but I would not want to be a Republican Supreme Court justice in the United States if there's a Democrat president next year, because they can't provide these people enough security. And by that I mean this, that somebody takes one of those justices out, sure, there'll be a 2 or 3 month period of how horrible this is, and then you're going to have a Democratic president appointing the next Supreme Court justice, which will change whatever balance of power exists. That shouldn't be part of America, political assassination. I feel quite strongly about that because I'm in a position I could be targeted.
Yeah, we're all in agreement on that. Paul obviously is too. Your thoughts 2 years from the assassination? Just general thoughts?
Yeah, I would love to see a doctor report. I'd like to see anything. There's been nothing, and it even seems like Mike Elliott, who I don't agree with on a whole lot of things, he's frustrated. He can't even get information. Yeah. It's his district.
One thing I found particularly fascinating about that whole thing, that kid appeared in a BlackRock commercial.
Right.
What are the odds of that taking place? There's a lot of unanswered questions.
The failures that have to happen for that act to happen are amazing to me.
How did he get the rifle up there?
Exactly. I don't know either. The political ramifications I'm sorry to say, were incredibly beneficial for Trump.
Yeah,
the iconic picture
that probably
of him
won
bleeding
the election for Donald Trump
and having his fist in the air. Yes, I think he would have won anyways, because I think Kamala Harris was not a very good candidate, and the timing, all of those things. But I think that iconic picture absolutely got him elected, beyond doubt. I think a lot of people said that. So I'd love to know more. I'm with Paul. Like, where are we at on this? You can't tell me. You can't. You don't have any information on this kid?
Right. And there's been nothing because I think that they want to just let it sit where it's at.
Maybe.
But then the question is why? I mean, was he a lone wolf gunman? His parents, what little came out at the time, they seemed to be disassociated with him. He seemed to be a troubled young man.
We've never heard anything. Like,
I don't know why the fireman that was killed, that was just there. Why is his family not complaining? Or
I don't know. They were pretty vocal early, I thought, but I just think there should be generally more. Yes. Paul.
Yeah.
I think that's a, you made that point.
I would want to know.
There should be more.
How does this happen?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Incredible day in history, though, no doubt. All right, we'll go to the phone. Shaney says they're loaded. You want to talk? We will listen. 814-679-1080. You're on the Joel Natale Show on Talk Erie.
Hey, Dino, great show.
Thanks, man.
I spoke to Joel, and he's going to save this for the best of the Joel Natale Show. We have the conservative judge on. We have the liberal Paul Bills, and we have the rhino host Dino.
I love it.
Hey, I thought I'd let you guys know real quick. Barrel of oil, $80 today. So get ready to pay them higher gas prices. But anyhow, real quick here, I've been listening to the show from the start because anytime the judge is on, I'm going to be listening. And Paul, too. Happy birthday, Paul.
Thank you.
So your first caller, Joel. I'm sorry, I'm calling you Joel.
No,
that's
okay.
how good a job you've done.
Thank you.
The first caller, he was talking about Trump manipulating the markets, and you you came off as you didn't know what he was talking about. So we bombed Iran Sunday. Today, Trump is saying he's going to be the guardian of the strait, but he's going to charge a fee to get through there. Now, hold on. I thought he said that Iran could never charge a fee for these ships to get through there, but America can? I mean, what is it? The federal judge just ruled on his IRS case that he wants his attorneys investigated for what they try to pull over there. And I think that one of his attorneys, isn't he the acting attorney general right now? What is going on? I'll tell you when this war ends. It doesn't. It's never going to end because Iran doesn't play games and they're dangerous people and they don't care. They could care less what America thinks, what America says. And I'm so sick of hearing about this nuclear bomb crap they've had and been threatened. If they had a nuclear bomb, they had 50 years to fire that thing. They never did. Okay, that was no reason to go in and take over and kill their leader. We got problems in this country, and I'll tell you what, with this gas soaring again and the economy, Democrats win it all in November. January, they will take office, and they will try to impeach Trump again. And maybe he should be impeached. I voted for this man 3 times, but he never promised any of this crap he's doing at any rally I ever attended or watched on TV. I'll leave you with that, Dino.
All right.
Good job.
All right. Appreciate it very much. Thank you, sir. Right back at it. We okay, Shane? Yep. All right. Caller, you are on the Joel Natale Show on Talk Erie. What you got?
Okay, I want to lighten up the subject a little bit. The MLB All-Star Home Run Derby is on tonight at 8 o'clock.
Nice.
However, it's on Netflix.
Oh, really?
So
we can do that.
It's on Netflix. It's not on ESPN. It's not on Fox. It's not on any of the free channels. So if you don't have Netflix, you're going to have to pay to subscribe. Or I don't even know if it's available. It's not. I have the MLB ticket. It's not available on the MLB ticket, and the audio is not available on the MLB ticket. It was like the Pirates game the other day when they won against the Brewers 14-5. That was on Peacock.
Yeah, I know. I didn't have it either. Drove me crazy. Yep.
All these sports teams, they're dicing their games out for Peacock, Paramount, Prime, YouTube, Netflix, all these streaming services. If you want to watch a game, you're going to have to be subscribed to all of these streaming services. Now, my question to you guys is, how long is this going to go on? I mean, the NFL is doing it. The MLB is doing it. Not so much for the NBA, but I can't believe that to watch your sports team that you're going to have to subscribe to 6 or 7 different streaming services to watch your team. It's upsetting.
Yeah, I understand.
So it should be.
Yeah, I mean, it's on tonight at Netflix. I have Netflix.
Yeah.
So but I was only after my wife told me because I don't usually watch the TV that much.
I'm glad you're a baseball fan.
I calmed down a little bit, but I'll tell you these MLB and the NFL, they keep giving these games away and making it difficult to watch. They're losing the kids. Not so much the adults that can afford it, but they're losing the kids.
All right. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Paul, you got thoughts on that? Big baseball guy.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that. I mean, it's all about money. Everything's about money. So, I mean, that's what's going to happen. I mean, I have to buy the Pittsburgh Sportsnet package in order to watch the Pirate games because I want to watch every game. So that's the only way I can do it, and the only way I can do it on my phone.
I think the future is a la carte. I'm not watching 95% of whatever I can get. Even streaming. So I think this is the future, but I don't think we'll continue to go like this. We'll be able to. People aren't going to pay much more for entertainment, right? I mean, everybody's looking to cut $10 off their bill for goodness sake, whatever they can do. So
right, but people were
I just
getting
think the market's changing.
At one point, in order to watch your baseball team play, you had to have cable.
Yeah.
People that didn't have cable, they couldn't watch their team. So I mean, it's been that way since TV's been a thing. So
I think it's the nature of the changing technology. Maybe I think people are going to continue to pay it. Listen. I love the NFL. I got to do whatever I'm going to do. I'm not missing a game. I just do it. I eat it. I'm a terrible consumer because I'll continue to pay it.
I agree.
I'm the problem. David, you agree with the caller though. You think it's?
I have to say, being a Cleveland fan, it's just not all that important to us anymore.
You're better off not watching.
I characterize the Browns as being unwatchable, and that's very true. And it doesn't look like it's going to get any better this year. That's from what I'm seeing. So.
And on that note, we're going to take a quick break because I don't think we can top that at this point. We'll be back, continue the conversation on Talk Erie after this. 522, you are listening to Talk Erie, live from the Kingdom Financial Group studios. Joel Natale on a well-deserved rest here currently. We are live today, though. Dean Pepicello filling in. Judge Dave Schroeder, Paul Bills joining us on the microphone. Aaron and Shaney off, making sure things run. We'll sneak in another phone call here for the bottom of the hour break. You are on Talk Erie.
Thanks, Steve. Hey, I was on before, and I'll let
No, it's okay.
If you need to dump me, go ahead.
No,
Real
what you
quick.
got?
First of all, there's something going on with your signal. I'm on 1300 block of West 10th, and it's gone on my bedroom radio. It's gone.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether there's something else went online, or the signal's down a little bit. And I know Joe's been with WCTL for a long time, wrestling with signals. I know that he probably doesn't even want to hear that. But anyway, the other thing was, everything that the Democrats have done, almost everything you could think of, and if you go line by line, as far as the legislation they pushed, it has made it easier to cheat in the elections, everything. And mail-in voting is something they've been after for decades. And I don't know if you knew this, but France got rid of mail-in voting, mass mail-in voting, in 1975, Dean.
Yeah.
1975. And I wanted to touch on one other thing about Trump being able to fire people. You can go and look it up. FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and George Meany, and you guys know who those guys are both on the record as being against public government unions, because they know that once you get government unions, you can twist the taxpayer with slanted binding arbitration. That's what they always do. Look at what the firefighters are making. These tough job, $90,000 and $100,000. When who was the one who was the writer for the Times? She was elected to city council, and she grilled Guy Santos, and he admitted that he was making $130,000 for 35 hours a week. I mean, not a bad gig if you can get it. But the mean income in Erie, or medium income, however you want to put it, is somewhere between 35 and 40,000, maybe, if that. These guys are making. There was 40 firefighters at that time, 10 years ago or so, making $90,000 a year and above. How can you justify that? I understand that they have a tough job, but they don't risk their lives every day. I'm sick of hearing that crap. The toughest job, the most dangerous job is road workers, not fire, not police, but road workers. And you can look that up. I'll let you go.
I appreciate it. I respect the opinion very much, and I'm an elected official, and I don't like government. I mean, and I've been doing this, 20 years. But I don't. If you're running in burning buildings and you're a police officer and you're willing to sign up and go in the military, I'm sorry, I feel that they're a different level. I'm not a big fan of public unions either. I understand that. But I can't necessarily agree with it. I think there are good and bad employees everywhere. Pick your profession. But man, I find those professions to be special. I can't do any of those things. Maybe that's why. You don't want me running into your burning building. You don't want me carrying you out. You certainly don't want me defending you. Like, that's just not what I do. So I just have an utmost respect for people that do. I don't want to put words in either of your mouths, but that's just me speaking. I get the point. I understand it. Government overspending and all of those things, waste. I'm with you. I can't quite go that far on that issue.
I agree. I think that I can't imagine being a fireman. I have a lot of respect for what those guys do, and I would never say that they're not risking their lives all the time, because they are. And that's my point.
Yeah, David, go ahead.
I'm not to take anything away from the firemen, but I can't imagine being a police officer in this day and age. I have to watch the videos, the body cam videos and stuff, what these guys put up with. I mean, they stop a vehicle for a legitimate reason. They're not even at the window, and it's on. You got the person in the front seat MFing them this, you pulled me over for this reason or that reason. It's a different world than it was before. And the number of police officers being shot, I think I heard the other day, we've had 4 shot in Ohio so far this year, shot and killed so far this year. Last week, an officer in Rittman responded to a domestic violence call, and the guy inside opened fire and killed him and wounded some other people. So I can't imagine doing that job, particularly with the lack of respect that they get now from the community. So firemen's a different issue. Depends on the community. I would not want to be a fireman. For example, in Erie, the older structures, those things go up pretty quickly. Some of the new suburbs, with all new construction. It's less demanding because of the newer construction. It tends not to catch on fire like these old structures, but they're definitely they got tough jobs, but police officers have the worst right now. We need to stand behind police officers because that's the last stop between a lot of problems, is the ability to call the police and have somebody respond.
Yeah, Paul and I are both in local government, so we kind of understand this. People should understand firefighters they're responding to 911 calls, not just fires in the city of Erie. They're now first responders. They're going on almost every EMS call.
Exactly.
So they're not sitting at the fire hall for 3 days until the next fire happens, which, by the way, in the city, they happen almost daily at this point. But they're
older structures burn.
No, that's fine, but they're also responding to EMS calls.
Are they responding as they're running the ambulance service?
No,
now?
they'll actually take rigs, fire apparatus. Emergicare is its own entity.
Correct.
But there's always more calls than there are paramedics and ambulances and EMTs available. So firefighters are trained in first response, and they're going on those calls.
The reason they do that, because when I lived in Mentor, they did the same thing, is because they may have the personnel and the equipment to extricate somebody from something. But I can tell you, for what it's worth, a lot of the time they're not needed. It's just an ambulance call. But if you're the guy that needs them and they're there, that's a good thing. But
that's the other
it's
thing.
Expensive.
It is. And again, we're, in Harbor Creek, we're lucky. My goodness, we have volunteers willing to do this. I mean, do it for nothing. They're running into burning buildings for free. I mean,
right?
They're the greatest human beings you could ever, and people are critical of that stuff. That just drives me crazy. So we're blessed. So, I have a soft spot in my heart for those types of people. So
and we're splitting hairs. I think that both fire departments and police departments, they do not get paid enough.
And it's just, what price do you put on it? That's the other thing too. But I get it. I get the argument. He's right a lot about government waste and whatnot. All right, we have one segment left. We will do it after the bottom of the hour break. Come back and have more conversation. There's plenty to do yet here on Talk Erie. It is 5:38 on a beautiful Monday in downtown Erie and large parts of the Northeast as we speak. You are listening to the Joel Natale Show on Talk Erie. Joel is getting a little R&R, much deserved. He works very hard at this job. How anyone does this 3 hours a day, I have no idea. I am Dean Pepicello, filling in for Joel, and lucky enough to be joined today by the judge who made his way over from Ashtabula County, Ohio, Judge David Schroeder and Paul Bills. Aaron and Shaney, first of all, shout out to you guys. We would not be here on the air doing any of this without both of you. Thank you so much. They have been wonderful to us in studio. If you're joining us on Facebook, we appreciate it. Over the air or online at talkerie.com, we appreciate any of the ways you get this particular radio station, this group, and encourage you to listen all the time. Guys, a couple of minutes left. I want to get your opinion on a couple of things. We just celebrated 250. I don't feel like 250 in this country felt like 200. Maybe because I was younger in 76. I just didn't feel the same to me. Paul, you're younger than me. David, you're older.
Yes.
Did you get the same patriotic feel?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Why? Is it Trump's fault?
Why?
Trump derangement
One
syndrome?
side would say it's Trump's fault. People who think like me, and it may just be a few of them, but I just was leery of going in large crowds, leery of doing anything publicly because of some of the stuff that's happening in this country. So we went to a private fireworks show, but I didn't go to any large crowds. I didn't feel any great sense of patriotism like I did. And I don't even want to talk about the stuff I did for the 200th. That was a pretty wild night in Erie, Pennsylvania, I can tell you.
It was?
Oh, we
Really?
won't go. In my house, we call those vault stories that get locked.
Oh,
in the
come
vault.
on. You got to give us something. I would
No.
have been 10.
Well,
9.
I was 21 at the time, so it was an interesting night in Erie,
Paul wasn't
Pennsylvania.
born.
I was 2, right? 76? Yeah.
So
I
you
was
would.
2.
So, well, give me some. I mean, you didn't have to involve you.
Well,
There was a big party in Erie for the bicentennial.
oh, everywhere, every
No
street,
kidding.
people walking down the streets, drunk, celebrating, shooting fireworks.
Well, nothing
off.
wrong with that.
It was a massive celebration.
Really?
Yeah.
So this was far different then.
Yeah, to me it was, and that's just my personal feeling. I was not feeling particularly celebratory.
You weren't personally.
No.
And you think that was the country's mood?
To some extent. Not like 200th. It was nothing like 200.
Right. I would
So-
agree with that. Paul, I know you were too. I mean, you're feeling just generally of this celebration. I mean, it's a big deal. This is the greatest representative republic in the history of the world, and it's made it 250 years. I was pretty euphoric. Still am. I don't know. Maybe it's me.
There's just too much division to
Too much
be,
hatred.
to be excited like
Yeah.
that. So it's just a different world. Like in '76, you didn't have social media. You didn't have, people getting their own, being radicalized by different things, and it just wasn't a thing. And now, it's people are aware now more than they were then.
But they're aware of what they follow. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the truth, though.
Totally agree.
People get their news from whatever strange news service they get it from, and they think it's the gospel. And I'm not optimistic
On both
about
sides.
the future.
I agree.
So we have to straighten this out. It starts with the end of political violence. You cannot have that be part of the equation and continue to sustain a democracy. Because what's going to happen is you're not going to have good candidates run for these offices. You already don't.
Right, you already don't.
You have flawed people run for these offices for the wrong reasons, and we have to straighten this out.
You don't think there's just a less of an understanding about the history of the country and the formation? And
Oh, that's probably part of it. You could say the educational system is not promoted the greatness of this country.
I'm not. I don't know if I'm slamming the education. I guess in part, but I think there's just a less appreciation for what went on 250 years ago.
Less appreciation for the significance of what went on. How important that was to world history, what took place here 250 years ago. I give you that. But we got some things to straighten out in this country.
You feel that way?
Yes.
See, I still feel like this is the country. I think, and I've said this to Joel. I think if the founders came back today, they'd be like, but all in all, hey, pretty good. Thumbs up. Like, they couldn't have predicted all this stuff. technology, any of that stuff. But we still elect we elect our representatives. We might not like them, and I get it that some of that changes. But I think the country, by and large, they set up still exists.
It does, but I have concerns for the future.
Really?
Personally.
You think the country's going in a socialist direction?
Well, it certainly appears that way.
I shouldn't use maybe not that word, but do the elections in New York City and Denver, do those scare you? Do they think that you think that's the future?
Here's what frightens me. I mean, the elections in New York City, and especially in New York City, you have to look at how few people actually voted for those candidates. And there is no Republican Party. Whoever wins the Democratic primary is in.
Yeah.
So AOC, for example, won her first primary in 2018 with fewer than 17,000 votes in a district of 715,000 people. So when you have that few people voting, you can mobilize your side to get out there and vote,
sure,
and you can influence the result without necessarily changing the ideology. And once those people get in there, and I have I have an article here from Mark Penn and Andrew Stein, two noted liberal commentators, saying that the title is "The Socialist Threat is Real," because what's going to happen is these 4 or 5 Congress people are going to get in there, these Democratic Socialists, and it's going to be just like the Tea Party from a few years ago. If it's a close body, they're going to have a great deal of influence because the Democrats are going to need their votes. So whatever happens, they're going to be throwing them bones to try and get their vote to go along with this thing. And once these people get through the primary in these districts, it's over. There is no general opponent.
Correct.
So,
Paul, your thoughts on those particular races and the country's future politically?
I mean, I'm glad that, because I don't know, and I don't know if like Mondami in New York City, I don't know if that will work, but that's a pretty good starting point. If you're going to do something like that, they're doing it in a very big city with a lot of money. So let's see if it works. I don't know. Maybe it won't, maybe it will. And if it does work, does it get bigger? Does the movement get bigger? I mean, he's already balancing budgets that have never been balanced before and doing things like that. He's very well liked. He's a great speaker. He's very smart.
That's true. Yeah.
So let's see. I don't know. I think that we're scared that it'll work.
Interesting take. I think he's balancing the budget on the backs of people who've created jobs, and some of those people are fleeing. There could be a downside, but you're right, the jury's still out.
But that's always the argument, but that's actually not happening, really. Because if you're in New York City, you're not leaving New York City.
well, that's not true. There's an article in the Wall Street Journal today talking about who's leaving New York City, and it's the people with the money. The people with the higher incomes are leaving New York City.
Right, but the businesses that they've created in New York City are not leaving because that's where they're making their money because they're in the biggest city in the country.
Well, it depends on what business you're talking about. Business is now national, and if you have a business that's the corporate headquarters is New York, but you're doing business all over the country, you don't have to be in New York.
But I think we're afraid that it's going to work.
Or afraid. I'm afraid that it's not going to work, and once you give things to the government, they don't give you back. They don't give it back.
And that's fair. But what we're doing now, is it working? There's a lot of people in poverty in this country.
There always have been.
Is it working?
There always have been. I disagree with you entirely on that. I don't believe it's possible that it could work. I think that there were a lot of misrepresentations, free buses that lasted a very short period of time. Mondami's grocery stores, it's supposed to open the first one 3 years from now. I just think the whole thing has been a scam. What he's promising can't possibly be delivered.
Okay.
So
we'll see.
We'll see.
It's good.
If I'm wrong, I'll be the first guy to say it.
All right, yeah, we'll see.
I'll tell you this.
I'm not saying it will work. I'm just saying I'm interested to see if it will.
I'll tell you what is, I think the jury's out on all of that. What the jury's not out on is these candidates have tapped into a dissatisfaction with a large group of voters.
And they're young.
And they're especially young. And they have tapped into it. And Bernie Sanders has a huge following. And this is a reality. These people are unhappy. They do not like the price of things. There's a story out today that 1 in 5 middle-class families are now putting their groceries on credit cards. That's what people think. Prices of stuff are too high. And the dissatisfaction with Donald Trump has been He probably could have solved that problem. He ran on it, and it hasn't happened. And I think that's the dissatisfaction. But they are tapping into people who are listening to this message. That is real.
And those young people also know that the people making the decisions don't worry about their cable bill or their grocery bill or their medical bill.
Right. Now that stuff's true. Now, I think the other side of it, the socialism side of it, the government, I don't have to use that word, giving more power to the government is a bad thing. And I think it will backfire and it won't work. But the message today is resonating. And somebody in the Republican Party probably needs to figure that out in a hurry, or you're going to see more and more of these candidates win. They're not going to win in Indiana or Mississippi or whatever, but they're going to win some of these races. And David's right. They're going to have a ton of influence because you're going to need their vote. So there is a movement going on, which does scare me to death. I think at the end of the day, the American people will figure it out. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see, but they're tapping in.
Well, just like the Republicans endured the Tea Party for a period of time, the Democratic Party may have to endure the, quote, Democratic Socialists for a period of time to find out that it doesn't work. So
correct.
The Tea Party didn't work for the Republicans.
No, but certain messages are meant for certain times. And both of those messages, the one going on now and the Tea Party, were the right time for the country. Doesn't mean you end up the right way, but sometimes it's all about timing. Politics is always about timing. And that's what you're seeing happen right now.
The last quote in this article I have here from Mark Penn, who's a Democratic strategist: if mainstream Democrats don't retake their party, you may not recognize America the next time it wins a national election.
That could be. We'll see.
Could very well be true.
We'll see. Remains to be seen.
That might not be a bad thing either, though.
I consider it a terrible thing, but
it might not be.
Right. No, I understand. I understand the point. But that's where this country is right now. So it's interesting as we celebrate 250. All right, we're going to take our last break, and we will come back and finish up in the last few minutes. All right, just a few minutes ahead of 6 o'clock. I want to send our thank yous out first to Joel Natale. Thank you for allowing us to sit in and do this. To Shani, you're the greatest. We love you to death. Not just Paul, your husband. Happy anniversary, you two, by the way.
Thank you.
So you got birthdays, anniversaries. Happy birthday to Joel. Aaron, you're the best, man. Thanks for sitting in and doing this. I am Dean Pepicello, the judge. Dave Schroeder is with us as well. See, we just compliment them, and what happens? That's a letdown, I tell you. All right, we only have a couple minutes left. We've done so many serious topics, and the discussion's been awesome. And thank you to everybody who's listening and calling in. You've been fabulous. Let's have some fun. Last couple of minutes. Let me just fire stuff at you. Pirates make the playoffs, yes or no?
Yes.
David?
No.
Yeah, no way.
They're trading for a reliever. It
won't matter. It's the worst bullpen in history.
Doesn't matter. They're going to make the playoffs.
I love your optimism, Aaron.
I didn't say they're going to win the World Series or make the World Series, but they will make the playoffs.
That was my question. Playoffs, yes or no, Aaron?
No.
All right, no. All right. You're the only optimist here.
We're like 8 games out of first place.
Well, here's a better question. Who's going to have a better record, Cleveland or Pittsburgh?
Cleveland.
Oof.
They just keep winning games. I don't even know who with who. I don't understand.
I don't either.
What do you think?
I'm going Pittsburgh.
I love Paul's optimism.
I don't even know where Cleveland is right now. They're in
first place.
I know, but I don't know what their record
They're
is.
4 games over 500.
Right, and the Pirates are 2 games over 5,
yeah, very
right?
close,
So,
right?
Or 3.
No, I'll take the Indians. Sorry, Guardians. Heaven forbid.
Pirates lost Connor Griffin, so he's going to be out for 12 weeks.
Yeah, but we bring up Valdez, and he's in 21 games. He's hit 10 home runs. He's batting .340. Come on.
I'll still take Cleveland. Pirates make the playoffs.
Cleveland finds a way to win.
All the time. It's incredible. Yep. Browns have more than 5 wins. Yes or no?
No.
Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes.
You think they'll have 5 wins?
Have you seen their schedule? They play no one. They play no one. Yes, the Browns will have more than 5 wins.
Wow.
Who's the quarterback at the end of the year? Deshaun Watson or Shadir Sanders?
Could be somebody we've never heard of.
That's probably true. That's a great point. Baker Mayfield.
I want Sanders to be good.
So do I.
And I'm not a Browns fan, but I I was a Deion fan when I was a kid.
Yeah, so. I don't care about Deion or what. I just whatever. I want him to be good. I want success.
It's just too much of a circus.
Who wins the Super Bowl?
Denver.
It's July.
Easy. Denver's got the best team, no holes.
Would Denver,
they should have won it last year.
Yeah,
if Bo Nix wouldn't have got hurt, they'd have won.
Denver, what do you got?
As long as it's not Pittsburgh, it's a good year.
It will be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers goes out on top, and we win the Super Bowl. Absolutely. After a 9-8 regular season and sneaking into the playoffs, yes. No, I'm not serious. The Steelers will stink. They're not going to. No. Yes, yes. Take the Steelers.
Okay.
Not a chance.
Do the Steelers make the playoffs?
Yes.
No.
Because they're in a weak division.
No,
not anymore. Since he's better, Baltimore's going to be better. Cleveland is Cleveland. Yes or no?
What?
You don't have a microphone. Just give us an answer.
Yes.
Yes. Shani, do you care?
No.
How's Shani on sports?
She hates them.
All sports?
Of it. Yeah. She
does
like.
I don't care.
She likes to go to a baseball game.
Does I know it's awesome. Does LeBron sign with the Cavaliers?
Yes.
I'm going to say no, or he would have already done it.
Oh, he likes the
drama.
Yeah, I'm with Paul.
Yeah.
I think he does.
Where
else would he go?
I hope he does.
Yes?
Easy yes.
I mean, he did it once, though. What is he, like 60 years old? Why is he still playing?
You know what the old joke was? Art Modell only left once.
That is pretty funny. All right, we have got to go. Thank you, guys. I love y'all. It was fabulous. Appreciate it. Joel, thanks for letting us do this. We're happy to be here live. He'll be back soon. Do you know when Joel's back?
Next Monday.
Next Monday. And I'll be here as well in the 5 o'clock hour. Thanks for listening. It's Talk Erie.